Good morning children, welcome to today's class. This video is in continuity with the previous video. So if you have not seen the previous video, kindly do so. I will provide the link in the description box. Basically in the previous class we had learnt what is if else, and we had also started off with multiple if else. So we will quickly revise a bit of multiple if else and then we will move further. So let's see what is multiple if else. When there are multiple conditions, then each condition is checked separately using an if statement. Now let's see with this example. This is the same question which is given to you in worksheet 3. Write a Java program to accept 3 integers and print which is the greatest. Now this question can be done in many ways, but the way which I have done it is the easiest and the simplest way to do it without repetition of statements. So let's go ahead and see this. Now in this slide, I have accepted 3 numbers using the scanner class. You could see that A, B, C are the 3 integers, and the 3 integers have been accepted using the scanner class. Now herein the same if code is being written over here. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, system.out.println A is greatest. Else if B is greater than C, system.out.println B is greatest. Else system.out.println C is greatest. Let's see this with the examples given on the right side. Now over here children, uh, when we are saying that uh, this is the A, this is what B, and this is what C. Now A is what 5 over here, B is what 4, and C is what 3. Let's see this condition now. Now when we are saying A is greater than B, when we say A is greater than B, let's see, is 5 greater than 4? Yes, it is greater than 4. And is 5 greater than 3? Yes, it is greater than 3. So it will print 5 is greatest or A is greatest. Now children, the thing which has to be noted over here is this condition A is greater than C would only be checked if and only if A is greater than B is true. If this condition A greater than B is not true, then it will not come to this part, because and evaluates both the conditions, and if both the conditions are true, then only system.out.println A is greatest would be printed. But if this condition is not true, then it will automatically jump here to the else part, and it will not check further for A greater than C. Now let's take another three numbers wherein A is what 3 over here, 8 is what B, and 6 is what C. Now is A greater than B? It will start from this part only. From the first condition only it will start. Is A greater than B? 3 greater than 8? No. So if 3 is not greater than 8, it is automatically assumed that B is greater than A. So we need not write B is greater than A over here. Why? You can see in this example, if 3 is not greater than 8, then automatically 8 is greater than 3. That is very clear. So if 8 is greater than 3, it is automatically seen. So what is left? Only it has to be compared with the value 6. So it will check if B is greater than C. That means 8 is greater than 6. Is 8 greater than 6? Yes. So it will print 8 is greatest or B is greatest. B means the value of B, that is 8 is greatest. Now let's see the third set of values, that is 9, 4 and 10. Now if A is greater than B, A is what? 9 and B is what? 4. 9 is 9 greater than 4? No. It is not, it is greater than 4. 9 is greater than 4. So if 9 is greater than 4, it will check for 9 is greater than 10. Is 9 greater than 10? No, 9 is not greater than 10. So this condition becomes false. This condition becomes false. So it will not be printed. If 9 is not greater than 10, then now it comes here. If B is greater than C, is B, what is B? 4. Is 4 greater than 10? No. So if this was false, now if this is also false, then automatically what is greatest? 10 is the greatest value. That is, the C is the greatest value. I hope you have understood this, and this is the simplest and the easiest way to write down the program and to avoid multiple repetitions of code. Now let's see this example. Define a class library with the function find, which calculates and prints the find as per the following. Days, find per day. 1 to 5, no find. 6 to 10, rupees 1 per day. 1 to 15, rupees 2 per day. And greater than 15, rupees 5 per day. Now children, over here the class name and the function name are already mentioned, so you have to use this only. It is mandatory for us to use the same name as it is already mentioned in the question. Let's see how we will calculate this. Okay, now over here children, it is saying public void find int days float find scanner sc is equal to new of scanner system dot in, enter number of days. Now using the next int function of the scanner class, I have input the number of days. Once the number of days are input into the variable days, we are going to check for the conditions. Now the condition said that if days, for the first 5 days it was no find. So if for the first 5 days it was no find, so number of days would be days into 0, because the fine is 0 rupees and the number of days, whether it is between 1 to 5, it doesn't make any difference. So over here the fine is rupees 0. For the next 5 days it says that it is 5 rupees per day. Now let's say the child returns the book on the 7th day. Now for the first 5 days he has to pay no fine. So that is why this condition is written 5 into 0 plus days minus 5. Now what is this days minus 5 condition doing? Now with the condition days minus 5, what we are actually doing is we are actually calculating the remaining number of days left for which he has to pay rupees 1. So if it is on the 7th day, for the first 5 days he pay rupees 0, and for the remaining 2 days, now how those 2 days are calculated? Days minus 5. So 7 minus 5 is 2. He will pay how many rupees? 2 rupees if he returns the book on the 7th day. Now if he returns the book on the, let's say, 12th day, so then it will come to the next condition, that is if days is greater than 10 and days is greater than equal to 15. Now fine is equal to 5 into 0. For the first 5 days it is 5 into 0. For the next 5 days it is rupees 1 per day. So that is number of days into 1. And for the remaining days are calculated as days minus for the first 5 days and the next 5 days. So days minus 10 would be giving us the remaining days what we have to pay for the number of days for which we have to pay rupees 2 per day. And if this condition is also not true, then it will come to the next condition. That means if the child returns the book after the 15th day, that means let's say it is 16, 17, 18 or whatever, then how much fine he will pay. Now over here in that case the number of days would be calculated as this and the fine would be calculated as shown in this statement. Fine is equal to 5 into 0. 5 into 0 means for the 5th day for the first 5 days he is giving rupees 0. For the next 5 days he is giving rupees 1 per day, that is 5 into 1. For the next 5 days he is giving 2 rupees per day, that is 5 into 2. And the number of remaining days would be days minus 15. That means if it is on the 17th day, then 17 minus 15. For the 2 days which are left, he will be paying rupees 5. So in total for the 17th day he will be paying rupees 5 plus rupees 10 plus rupees 10 again. Why? Because days minus 15 means 17 minus 15 means 2 rupees per day. 2 into 5 is 10. So 5 plus 10 plus 10. That means in total he will be paying 25 rupees for the day if he is returning on the 17th day. So this is the way we have done the program. Now in the next slide we will just cut short this way we have written the if condition, and the fine values would be the same. We will see another form of if in the next slide. Okay, in this slide children, what I have done is I have just removed the initial part of the if statement, that is days is greater than equal to 1 in this statement, which is this one. Now in this statement, in the previous slide, if you had seen that it was written days is greater than equal to 1 and days is less than equal to 5. So if days is less than equal to 1, if days is less than equal to greater than equal to 1 should not be written, it can be avoided. Why? Because if I say 1, 1 is less than equal to 5. If I say 2, 2 is less than equal to 5. 3, yes, 3 is also less than equal to 5. 5 is equal to 5, yes, 5 is equal to 5. So this part can be avoided by simply writing days is less than equal to 5. Now in the same way, this condition which was saying days is greater than 5 and less than equal to 10, that means from 6 to 10. So if I am saying on the 6th day, so in that case this condition would be false. So it will come here, is 6 less than equal to 10? Condition is true, so this will be executed. So if I take 7, 7 will not fulfill this condition. So when I come to this part, it will say 7 is less than equal to 10. Yes, condition is fulfilled, so it will execute. In the same way I have written for days less than equal to 15 also. Let's take example as 12. So if it is 12, this condition would be false. This condition would be false. 12 is not less than equal to 10. 12 is less than equal to 15. This condition becomes true. So it will execute this statement. So if it is not either of these, let's say it is the 17th or the 18th day. So 18 is less than equal to 5? No. 18 is less than equal to 10? No. 18 is less than equal to 15? No. So which condition would be coming? This else condition. So if this is the else condition, then fine will be calculated as per this condition. So this is the another way of writing the if statement. So this is the different way of writing an if statement, and we will see in other examples also which will be coming further how to use different other forms of if. Okay, let's see this program 2. Anshul Transport Company charges for the parcels of its customers as per the following specifications given below. Weight in kg, charge per kg. Up to 10 kgs, rupees 25 per kg. Next 20 kgs, rupees 20 per kg. Above 30 kgs, rupees 10 per kg. Accept the name of the customer, weight of the parcel from the user using buffered reader class. Calculate and print the charge as per the weight of the parcel. Now children, in this question it is mentioned using buffered reader class. So we have to use the buffered reader. Generally it is not mentioned, but as I want you to learn different forms of entering data through buffered reader and scanner also, so I have solved this question particularly in both the methods so that you get to know whichever form is convenient to you, you can use that. Let's say if you have to use buffered reader, then you should know how to enter the name of the customer and weight of the parcel using buffered reader, and then the same for the scanner class also. Now over here children, one again thing to be noted here is that it is shown that weight is 10 kg and charge is rupees 25. Next 20 kg it is rupees 20. Next 30 kg it is rupees 10. Children, depending upon the question, it could be either decreasing or it could be increasing. So for example, let's say you have to go for a travel agency and you hire a taxi or a car. So in that case what will be happening is, when you for the first few kilometers it says that you will be charged this many rupees, and for the next kilometers the charge gets decreasing, and as and when you increase the number of kilometers, the number charge per kilometer decreases. So there are many questions in which either it increases or either it decreases. So depending upon what is your requirement, you have to fulfill that. Like in the previous question, fine question, we were, as the number of days were increasing, the fine was also increasing per day. So again, depending upon the question, you have to do the question accordingly, you have to solve it accordingly. Let's see how for this example. Okay, in this example, we have used the buffered reader class in order to accept the name of the customer and the weight of the parcel. We have included or imported the IO package on top, and then I have declared a variable as string name. String name basically is a variable to accept name of a customer. Name, why it is declared a string? Because string is always a kind of variable which accepts data in the form of characters, continuous bytes of characters. Let's say it is a city name or a school name or a cinema name or an airline's name. So in that case, all these will be considered as string. So buffered reader syntax has been written, and float weight is equal to 0.0 f. Now why this f is there? Because in order to resolve the error of possibly lossy conversion from double to float, we write down usually f over here. If we do not write down this, then it might generate an error. So in order to avoid that, we have suffixed it by f. So after that, I'm writing down enter name of customer, and after I had input the name of the customer using the readline function. Readline function, as said earlier, it accepts a string of characters. So a string of characters means directly it can be stored in the variable which is declared as string. So name is declared as string. I can directly write down name is equal to br.readline. So over here, system.out.println enter weight of parcel. Now weight of parcel is basically a float kind of variable. Why? Because weight can be in decimal numbers. It could be 12.8, 17.4, etc. So that is why we have taken a float variable over here as weight. So float, in order to input the value as float for the buffered reader class, we have the syntax as float.parsefloat br.readline in brackets. Now parsefloat is a function of buffered reader class which actually of float class which actually accepts a string, that is br.readline. It could be any string. It could basically, it is a number which will be converted into a float later on. It is a string of decimal numbers which would be converted into a float value and be stored as a float, because there are certain numbers which are not used for calculations. So in the same way, it will accept the number, but it cannot be used for calculation because it is a string. So it has to be converted into a float or an integer in order to use it as a float or an integer. So parsefloat is the function which actually converts that string into a float type and stores it into the variable weight. After you had input the variable, sorry, the value of weight, then the conditions would be written, and it based upon those conditions the payment would be calculated. Here weight is less than equal to 10. Now weight is less than equal to 10 means that if the weight is between 1 to 10, if it is 1 to 10, then the weight is calculated as weight into 25, because the question said that for the first 10 kgs it is rupees 25 per kg. So it would be multiplied by the weight, 25 would be multiplied by the weight, and will be the payment which we have to give to the company. Now it was saying, the question said that for the next 20 kg, so the next 20 kg would be weight is less than 30. Why? Because for the first 10 kg, 10 we have already covered. And if I say next 20, then after 10 next 20 would be coming. Let's say I am calling out the roll numbers of the students from the class. I say first 10 students come out, so first 10 will come out, and then I say next 20 come out. So the number will start from 11 till 30. So in the same way, when I say next 20, so weight would be till 30. Weight is less than equal to 30. Payment would be calculated as 25 into 10. That means for the first 10, it would be 10 into 25 plus weight minus 10. Why weight minus 10? Because the previous number was 10. So total weight is weight minus 10 is the weight for which the person would be charged as rupees 20. So the total payment that he has to pay is the addition of both, that is 10 into 25 plus weight minus 10 into 20. For example, let's say the value is 24. So 24 means 10 into 25 is 250 rupees plus weight minus 10. 24 minus 10 is 14. 14 into 20 is 280. So the total payment would be 250 plus 280 that he has to pay. Now, if none of the condition above is true, then obviously the else part would be executed and the payment would be calculated according to this part. Now, for example, let's say the person has input the weight as 35. If the weight is 35, so then in that case, for the first 10 kgs, that is 25 into 10, would be 250 plus for the next 20 kgs it is rupees 20, so it would be 20 into 20 plus how many remaining kgs are left, because 20 and 10 has already been covered, so it would be 35 minus 30, that is 5. So 5 into 10 would be 50. So in total he will pay 250 plus 400 plus 50, that is equal to 700 rupees. So this is the way you calculate the money based upon the conditions. So in this program we have used the buffered reader. Let's see how we do for the scanner class. In the scanner class the syntax of the if loop would remain the same, just except for the syntax of the scanner class, how to input the name and the weight of the parcel. Let's see how. Now, in this example, I have created the class. I've imported the util package because I'm using the scanner class. Now, enter the name of the customer. As you know that name is a string, so here also I've declared weight as string as name and float as weight, and there's another variable as payment. Then I've declared the syntax of scanner class and enter name of a customer. Through the next line function of the scanner class, I am inputting the value as a string. So this next line function will actually input a string value and store it in the variable name. Now next we have to input the weight of the parcel. Now weight of the parcel is a float kind of value. So the next float function of the scanner class will accept the value as float and you will store it in the variable which has already been declared as float. Otherwise it will result into incompatible data types. So weight is already a float variable. So sc.nextFloat will enter the value of parcel or the weight of the parcel and store it in the variable weight. Once the variable weight has the value, then the conditions are executed based upon the condition whatever you have been provided in the question. So in the same manner I have calculated if weight is less than equal to 10, payment is equal to weight into 25. Else if weight is less than equal to 30, payment is equal to 10 into 25 plus weight minus 10 into 20. Else payment is equal to 10 into 25 plus 20 into 20 plus weight minus 30 into 10. Now after this you have to print the total payment that you had paid. So you have written you have to pay rupees this much plus payment. Payment is the variable which has been used for calculating the payment. So this is the way we actually deal with the scanner and the buffered reader class in order to input values from as string and float. We had already learnt integer before. Now we know for string also and for float also. And we had also learnt the different forms of if, either with a range of values wherein we give the condition and, or without the condition and. So children, now here there is something for you to do. There's a computer worksheet 4 based on lecture 6. I have included this in the presentation only because many of you are not able to access it as PDF. So you have to do this. You have to name the following: function of buffered reader class to input a string, function of buffered reader class to input a float, function of scanner class to input a string, function of scanner class to input a float. And you have to do few programs also. So define a class taximeter having the following description. Input taxi number, passenger's name and the number of kilometers traveled. Calculate and print the bill for a customer according to the given conditions. So the conditions are given over here. I had given you the example earlier how it works for the taxis. So whatever condition is mentioned over here, you have to follow that and do it accordingly. Whether it is increasing or whether it is decreasing, you have to follow this only. Okay. Then the second question says the security agency pays rupees 70 for 8 hours and after 8 hours it pays as per the following. So children, in this question, for the first 8 hours the payment is fixed. So you have to take care of this, that for the first 8 hours it is rupees 70. So you will not multiply in this case. So you have to see it accordingly and do it. So after 8 hours it pays as per the following. Next 2 hours it is rupees 50 per hour and the next 2 hours it is rupees 100 per hour. So input the number of hours for which a person works, calculate and print the money paid. So the next question says, this is the third and the last question. Define a class electricity bill. Now over here the class name is mentioned, children. So I told you if the class name is mentioned, you have to do it accordingly. Except the name of the customer, the number of units consumed, calculate the bill and the total amount to be paid as per the following tariff. So there's a little bit of alignment problem in this question. You can rectify that later. Number of units, rate per unit. First 100 unit it is rupees 2 per unit. Next 200 unit it is rupees 3 per unit. Above 300 unit it is rupees 5 per unit. A surcharge of 2.5% of the total bill is charged if the number of units consumed is above 300 units. So children, if in this question if it is above 300, then you will calculate the total bill, whatever is the total bill. It according to that you will calculate the 2.5% of that total bill and you will add that to the total bill. That would be the total amount paid by the customer in if the number of units consumed is above 300, and you have to print the details as follows: name of the customer in one line and followed by the name of the customer, number of units consumed in the other line, next line followed by the units consumed, and the bill amount, that is your total bill amount which you have to pay in all the three cases. Let's say if it is 100, then what will be the bill amount? If it is next 200 unit, then what would be the bill amount? If it is 300 unit, above 300 units, then what would be the bill amount? So thank you children. We would be starting off with a new topic in the next session. Thank you.